justice and peace and equality. Now the world they will see.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, and I'm here. Man, I'm back. Forget that. We ain't here. We back, and we here with Miss Tyronica Carter. Miss Tyronica Carter, the business mogul, the school teacher, and most importantly, a woman in business. How you doing today, Miss Carter?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain. Life is good.
That's right.
All right, we getting ready to go back to school.
Yes.
You know, the summer's ending.
Get ready.
Get ready.
As the parents say, tag, it's your turn, teachers now.
Man, this weekend, we got some phenomenal news.
Okay.
For those that believe in democracy of this country. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris has been nominated for the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. And she's one of your sorority sisters.
And I was just about to say, yes, my soror Kamala Harris is in that thing, and we are so excited to support her. We are so excited to just see where this takes us. It's historical. And so I'm glad to be living in this times to, again, hopefully witness another historical moment for us.
What does it mean? You know, I know you're a part of the whole women in business culture, the women in business. I wouldn't even call it a movement because movements stop and, you know, they start and they stop. Mm-hmm. But right now we're seeing a women in business experience, a women in leadership experience.
Yes.
With Kamala Harris coming to the forefront as the presidential candidate. What does that mean for African American women in this country who have been, you know, beat on, you know, they're the most unprotected group of people that we know.
Right.
What does that mean?
To me, what this means is finally African American women are going to be seen for the contributions that we make to society. It's been said, especially in the last presidential election, that, you know, African American women are the ones who came through and make it happen.
Right.
And so to me, what this means is that African American women are definitely going to finally see and get their due justice on their many, many contributions that we make to the society that's in a positive way and in ways that, you know, we want to see the U.S. grow. We want to see our nation be prosperous, but we want to be a part of it as well and not just continually be pushed to the backside.
Man, I mean, this very next day, I believe over 44,000 women got on a phone call.
Absolutely.
You guys raised was it 81 million, 1.5 million? What happened?
I think the women itself, I can't remember the numbers because it's been so many numbers being thrown around.
Okay.
But I believe it was over 1-something million for that group alone.
Okay.
But in totality, you know, so far she's raised over 8 million. And I believe the men were on a Zoom call last night as well.
Yes, sir.
And they came through as well. Brothers came through and raised over $1 million as well. So listen, it's go time. The momentum is here. You know, we have a little over 100 days. So the main part is going to be to keep the momentum going. She's going to have to stay at the forefront. She's going to have to, you know, make sure that her agenda is being pushed and it is clear as day because she's going to have to make a believer.
Right.
It's funny. I actually saw an old video from like the early 80s maybe. And I think it was former President Ford. I just saw it earlier today. And a young lady, he looked like he was at a school, and a young lady asked him, you know, what advice would you give for a female who wants to pursue becoming president? Now, again, this was like 80s, maybe late 70s. And do you know what his answer was?
What was that?
He was just as blunt to these elementary kids. He said that he would love to see a female president. And he said, but the way he thinks is going to happen is that it's going to be a male president, a female vice president, and that the male president, and this is not wishing anything on President Biden, but this is what President Ford said. I believe it was President Ford. He said the male president is going to pass away in office and the woman VP is going to become president because that's how it's designed, right?
Wow.
And so he said, and once that happens, the floodgates are going to open.
Wow.
He said, and men better watch out because once the women take over or become there, we get a taste of a woman president and we see what a woman is capable of doing.
Right.
Floodgates are going to open. And so he said that decades ago.
Oh, wow.
And here we are. you know, here we are now with the first, with Kamala Harris being up for the presidency.
Man, that's amazing. And I'm all for women being in leadership, women being in business, owning their own businesses. Now, you made a comment that the men stood up right after the women did their thing. What do
Right.
what do you think that means for our culture and our community in the African American community, seeing women lead and then men say, "Hey, man, we're gonna step up and it's time to walk side by side," because you know a lot of social media narratives paint this thing that we're against each other, we can't get along,
Right.
we can't work together. But we just saw in this week,
Yes.
we just saw African American women stand up and African American men follow suit. What does that mean to our culture coming together?
It is something that our culture needs to see. We need to see our women, you know, who we know that women are leaders, you know, even though sometimes we may take the traditional role of being in the background of leadership, but we know that women are the backbone of families. The women are the backbone, just period, of making things happen. And so once the women came through and showed their strength, it was so important to see the men say, "We support you." Because
Wow.
even when Kamala began to, you know, 2 days ago announced that she was going to run, you know,
Right.
you can even see, even through social media, some of the negativity that came from some men right away,
Okay.
whether they be black, white, or whatever, but you immediately saw the pushback from men. And so to have that come right behind the women,
Right.
it shows that, okay, they do have our back. The
Right.
men are here for it as well. And so that's important for the youth to see, our culture to see, and for society to see as well, that it's not always them and us against each other, that we know how to come together.
Right. Well, I think we eliminated the stereotype
Exactly.
in that effort. And it's not about being a man or a woman, but it's about being a unified front because together we're stronger.
Exactly. Exactly. And not only to show that, but to show the world that we can, it's not just what you see on TV. It's not just what the news and, you know, media pushes out, the narrative of the black family and the black culture. We have to actually show them that there's so much more. The percentage
Right.
of our unification is greater than the percentage of, you know, us, you know, being apart or against each other.
Correct.
And the things that you see, the narrative, you know, but you have to pay attention to what you allow the media to feed into you, because they're only going to show you what they want to show you, especially for us.
All I can say is, ladies, get your pearls and heels
Oh,
out
listen.
because it's time to dance.
The pearls, the heels, the chucks, whatever you got going on, it is definitely a time to come through. And you know what? And I want it to be understood that it's not just about, you know, this being a black woman at all, even though that's great for us, you know,
Right.
because everybody wants representation.
Correct.
And it's good to see a representation of the African American woman, but it's also good to see the representation of a woman.
Right.
And it's good to see the representation of a minority, no matter what. So I feel like she should be able to relate to people on more levels than just being a black woman.
Man, you said it. You said it, man. Woo! Boy, I almost had to get up and dance.
Do a
boy.
little bacon bounce
You
on
know.
that.
Now, you're an African American woman. You're married. You have a family.
Yes.
You're a thriving business owner.
Yes.
You're a prior educator.
Yes.
You know, and I believe you're author as well.
Yes.
Right. What does it mean to be an exemplification of the things that you saw people coming together in our community to exemplify the unity of the black family?
Wow, that's a huge loaded question right there. You know, the first thing you have to do is see yourself in that role.
Okay.
And I definitely see myself, you know, where I could be that example where people, all those things you named, you know,
Right.
a wife, a mother, a business owner, author, former educator. And, you know, even in my 44 years on this earth, it's hard for me to even digest
Right.
those accomplishments, because to me, it's I guess it's a natural walk.
Right.
And it's a walk that I didn't mean to walk into, but God led me this way. And so to be able to be that example means the world to me. To be able to say, you know, there's more Kamala Harris's out there in the African American woman.
Right.
You know, you can be, it shows you that it can be done.
Right.
And that's what I'm the most proud of, to be able to show people that this can be done. You know, I'm a girl from Mississippi.
Oh,
I
wow.
grew up in Mississippi, and I'm a country girl all day long.
Wow.
But listen, I done rode horses. I done, took care of farm animals. I have picked, fruits off of wild trees, all of those things. But I never thought that this is where I would be in my life.
Okay.
And I'm proud to be able to say that you can come from anywhere and you can come from anything and be that example, as long as you stay open
Right.
to opportunities, as long as you keep an open mind and you have the belief system that you can do this, and you have to dream big.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, you have to be able to dream past your wildest imagination and allow those things to manifest of what it is.
Man, you had to say it. I'm gonna let you tell it, because man, when it's coming from our women, man, I know from experience the men move.
Yes.
So last year we put out a magazine called Understanding the Business of Marriage.
Okay.
Featuring one of our good friends, Reggie and Pam Miles.
Yes.
Miles Select Vodkas. Big shout out to them.
Yes, shout out to them.
And looking at what's happening currently in our nation, which the nation is a business, and marriage is a business. Like, how do you make it work for you day to day, fulfilling those roles of the business of marriage and going out, accomplishing your personal goals as well?
Well, again, me being a former educator, my husband was also in the corporate management world.
Right.
And once we became business owners, we both were afforded the opportunity to do this full time. We had to come together on exactly what it was that we wanted this to look like, because we were new to this. I had no idea about running a business. My degree was not in marketing, business, none of those things. I was a teacher. And so I had to learn these things, and we actually had to learn how to navigate it. We're 7 years into doing this full time now,
Okay.
and we're still learning and growing. My husband actually just launched his cigar business, his own cigar brand.
Oh, wow.
And so we just had to make a pact of the fact that we know that we're onto something bigger than what we could have imagined or dreamed, and that we just have to keep going with the flow. And so what we like to do is we come together, pretty frequently, and just kind of go over our goals together.
Right.
We decide what it is we want to achieve together, but we also understand, because of course cigars is his thing. That's
Yes.
his dream. He wants to work on that. My thing is my business. I'm working on that. And so, but collectively, we understand that we have to put on a united front for our children and for those who see us as business owners and a marriage business partner as well.
Man, we right here in Birdsong Bookstore. You guys make sure you go pick up the new book, Stand Up by Brittany Cooper. It's right here at Birdsong Bookstore in Locust Grove. We're going to have to go to a commercial break. I got Miss Tyronica Carter, the business mogul, the author, and the educator right here at Birdsong Bookstore. You guys stay tuned. Ease up.